Howdy, Possum Patty here, and I'm nature journaling. It's a sunny Sunday, March 22nd. I went outside, had a really fun day today in my nature journal, as you will discover. So come along with me on my nature journaling journey today. The sky is blue. The wind is calm, pretty much calm. The vanes on the windmill are barely turning. It's a nice sunny day. The ground is still a little damp from the rain we had a few days ago. I hear a bird up in the tree. Don't know what it is, but I like to hear the bird songs. I'm going to walk out here because the ground is pretty muddy, and I thought I saw some deer tracks. So come along. See if I can find them again, and there they are. You can see where the deer went through. Left some good tracks in the mud. Okay, I'm going to stop now and put that in my journal. Okay, I was headed across the yard and I just came upon some more signs of deer. This might be a little hard to see because I'm shooting here in the bright sunlight, but I filled in my metadata. It's Sunday, March 22nd, 2020, and it's a sunny day. If you don't have a weather station, you can just make notes. I put down it's cooler than yesterday because I didn't check the thermometer before I came out. The air is calmer. The windmill was barely turning. It was about 1:30 when I came out. Beautiful blue sky. I heard some birds singing up in the trees. As I walked through the yard, I noticed some deer prints in the mud in the backyard, and I stopped to sketch them. Right now I hear somebody with a chainsaw running in the back. There's noise on both sides of me right now. I've got a chainsaw running to my right and a neighbor with a tractor running around to my left. But what I noticed about the deer prints is that the ground was so soggy and the deer prints really sunk in quite far. Now I didn't bring out a ruler, so what I did was I stuck my pen in the mud to see how deep they were, and then I put my pen against the paper and I drew a line, so they were about that deep. If I was concerned about a precise measurement, I'll just take my ruler and look at that when I get inside. I made a note, print sunk in mud this deep. Then I was walking to the side yard and I noticed some more deer sign, which was some deer scat. I did a quick sketch and I'll finish this later when I go inside. And also as I was walking across the side yard, I noticed that the breeze just started kicking up. Yesterday when I was out in the yard doing my nature journaling, I was out here sketching these little habitats we made out of sticks and branches that had fallen out of the trees and old trees we had cut up. And while I was out here sketching this, what caught my eye were these old logs on the ground that were covered with moss. So what I did was I brought out my computer and my Zoomy magnifier, and I'm going to take a little closer look at the moss growing on these old logs that are laying on the ground. So I brought my computer outside. The screen's a little hard to see because it's very sunny. And I connected my hand magnifier. This is called Zoomy. It's by Learning Resources. And you connect it to the computer. It looks like a blue egg, doesn't it? You connect it to the computer USB port. You can use the top part for focusing. And then with this button, you can either take a movie or still shot. And what I did was I took it and I put it on the moss. And I took a couple of pictures. And I also did a few pictures of this lichen, and there's some more lichen down here. Right now what I'm going to do is just make a little sketch and maybe do some watercolor while I'm sitting here. I worked on my page while sitting here on the ground. As you can see, I put some color on very quickly with my little watercolor set. And I sketched the mossy log and drew a quick pile of wood because this log is right next to one of our little habitat piles of wood. And I drew a couple sticks coming up. Those are the stems from last year's ferns. Okay, what I'm going to do now is go in the house and check my Zoomy pictures. And I left some room here on my page, and I'm going to add some pictures, close-ups of the moss that was on the log. Okay, now you can see my Nature Journal page is completed. I finished drawing my mossy log and the pile of sticks we call the habitat. So I came inside and examined my Zoomy pictures and my close-up photos of the moss. I looked it up in a field guide, Common Mosses of the Northeast and Appalachians. And I determined that my favorite one kind of looks like braids, of course. I love the braids. It was green and it was gold and it looked like brocade almost. And when I looked it up, I discovered there was probably kind of hypnum moss, Hypnum, hypnum moss, and it's also commonly known as the brocade moss. The other moss was like little wisps, like little whisk brooms. And that's probably a type of dicranum moss, D-I-C-R-A-N-U-M, dicranum moss. And it is commonly called, because it looks like broom moss. There are a few lichens on the logs, but I haven't looked them up yet. So this is my completed page. I have my metadata, some things I found around the yard, which today were animal signs, deer prints and deer scat. My purpose was, though, to go out and check the mossy log, which I sketched it as it was in the woods, and then to do a close-up of the moss on the log. So I hope you enjoyed this journaling journey today. Thanks for coming along. Bye-bye. When I do nature journaling, I try to make observations on 3 levels. I look up, I look out at eye level, and I look down. As you can see from my last few days of nature journaling, that I've always looked up and remarked about the sky or the tops of the trees. I've looked out at eye level. This is a pile of wood I saw in my windmill. And I looked down at the rocks on the ground and the flowers. Here's another one at eye level with the lichens on the tree. Here's another one looking down, leaves on the ground. Today I did look out, watch the windmill. I did look up and remark about the sky. It was a beautiful blue sky today. When I sat on the ground, the mossy log was at eye level, and the pile of wood we call our habitat was at eye level. But I did spend a lot of time looking down on the moss on the log. So that's 3 levels of observation. Look up, Look out at eye level and look down.